Hello, everybody! It is Wednesday! How are we doing tonight? Hello, Jennifer in first. Kitty, right? Oh, actually, Jennifer first, comment Kitty in first. Hey, Kim! How are we doing tonight, ladies? How are we doing on this hump day? Jeremy's with us, Adele and Dazzle. Great to have you all here. Linda is on. Boom! What are we grateful for this Wednesday? Let's get it started since I'm more ish than 8 tonight. What are we grateful for on this Wednesday night? Hot and humid Wednesday night. In the Northeast. Tell me about your day, people. Let me feel it. Michelle is with us tonight. Live. Great to have you all here. Cheers to you all this fine evening. But tell me what we're grateful for. I gotta know. Michelle did her homework. Is it a coincidence? I'm gonna talk about homework tonight. I am. I'm gonna talk about it. We're gonna start digging into it tonight. This is exciting stuff. I'm excited, Michelle. Oh, I'm tired too, but I'm excited. My peanut gallery thinks that's comical. So what are we grateful for this Wednesday night? We're halfway through the week. Week 18 or 19, depending on how you count, folks. How are you doing? I know, and I appreciate your patience with me, Kitty. It's been I've had a lot on my plate. Good day for a pandemic. Well, is that a good day for a pandemic, or you had a good sales day for a July during a pandemic? I'm hoping that there is never a good day to have a pandemic. I love you, Linda. You're great. You're terrific. You guys are awesome. Cheers, Michelle. Did you have a wind down Wednesday at your store tonight? I like that you now have a liquor connection that you can just walk next door and get a bottle. Say, I'm going to talk about it online, and they'll give you a bottle of wine. I think that is really awesome. I'm actually kind of jealous. I mean, you think Costco would send me some scotch after all this. Hey, I love it. I love that. I love that, Kim. You know, they shopped you by accident, but now because their car was blocked in, and now they're your new weekly customer. Aren't friends the best? And good sales is good. Hello, Sage. Yes, but you actually get the bottle of wine, Michelle. I get nothing from Costco. I get nothing. I tried to add Rebecca on, and they wanted to charge. Well, first they told me I couldn't do it because I'm not the primary member. So, and then they're going to charge me more for it. So I'm like, I got nothing from Costco. For all that I've talked to them about them during this. But you know, when I come down your way, Michelle, when I make it to your store, which will happen at some point, I don't know exactly when, but some point, I'm going to come walking through that door. And when I do, I'm going to go next door and I'm going to meet the wine man. Okay, and that is just because he is part of the story of all this. And so I want to meet the wine man, okay, who gives you a bottle of wine, and I'll buy a bottle of wine from him. Hey, Rick's with us tonight, so that is the truth. Well, that's great, people. I'm glad to hear these good stories. Your world. I'm glad to hear about new customers and good sales days, and we rang a decent amount at the register today too. We shipped a bunch, rang some sales, and it was good. So I will definitely be, at some point, Michelle, be coming on down. I'm going to find my way to where you are in Virginia, and I'm going to come. You never know once I can get back out into the world. Once I am unquarantined from the Northeast, I will be making all sorts of surprise trips. You never. I very much miss being on the road and being able to visit with people and help people work on their business. And this is something that it gives me a great deal of energy. It helps my peanut gallery be sane if they can send me on the road. They love packing up the car and say bye-bye. Bye. See, they're saying bye now. Look at that. Bye. They're getting a little too much enjoyment out of that.
There are 19 states you can go to, so bye.
There are 19 states that I can go to that I'm allowed to come back from.
That's including Connecticut.
Actually, only 18 other states, because Connecticut, where we live, is one of the 19 states. So I can travel within Connecticut, and I can go to 18 other states and come back. What are some of the states on the list, Rebecca, that I can currently travel to?
Hold on, I'll get the map.
Hang on, there is a map of where I can travel to, guys.
I don't know all the names of the states, because the American Education System is failing, but... this just refresh.
Hang on a second, Rebecca is refreshing the map. Well, that's true. Most of the time I can go so they want me to come back. So I guess that's something for my peanut gallery. Okay, now they don't want me to come back. They just want me to send money.
So any state that is green, you can go and come back from.
Okay, so guys, this is the map of the country by Connecticut's ratings. If it's green, I can travel there and come back.
As of yesterday.
As of yesterday. And if it's red, I can't travel there and come back.
Alaska is also on that map, but it is red.
And even Alaska's red. So I can go to Minnesota. I can come to Illinois. That's the chocolate capital of the center of the country. I can come to Michigan, Kentucky, West Virginia. Virginia's red right now, Michelle. We'll have to get to work on that. The whole Northeast. Yeah, so I can make it to the whole Northeast, and I can travel through Pennsylvania to West Virginia to Kentucky to Illinois, and I'm okay. I can come to Illinois. It is green. It is the green. I'm getting too much glare here, but it is the green there in the center of the country. Those are the states that I can travel to from Connecticut and come back. So I think I can have a Joanne, Julie, Kitty, Marianne, and I'm sure we can find some other people to party with in Illinois, and we can have a whole, we can do the virtual summit together. We could meet up. We could do eat one store during the virtual summit. All right, I digress, and I got to keep this moving, and I can sleep on Charlie's floor. So of his room. So we're all good. Of what used to be his room. Now he's got his own place. Our Good Morning, Good Night book is where we're going, people. Good morning, good night. Tonight we are on page 194 and 195 for those of you following along. The good morning tonight is good morning. Get out of your own head for a sec. Do something good today for someone else. They'll appreciate it. and so will your head. That is our good morning. I love the graphic for this one. That is great. All right, Heidi can come from Iowa to Illinois. They both start with I. All right, let's see what I got here for you guys today. I got a few things. And then we're going to get right into homework. We're going to talk homework here. Okay. Walmart has added a new round of worker bonuses, and the stores will close on Thanksgiving. Walmart is giving its hourly employees another round of cash bonuses. It's also closing its stores on Thanksgiving Day, which falls November 26th this year. We know this has been a trying year, and our associates have stepped up. We hope they will enjoy a special Thanksgiving Day at home with their loved ones. We are certainly thankful to our people for all their efforts. They will spend another $428 million on bonuses for their workers, with a $300 bonus for full-time hourly employees and a $150 bonus for part-time and temporary employees. Drivers, managers, and assistant managers at stores, clubs, distribution centers, and business will also receive a bonus. Our associates have been working at an incredible pace. They've solved problems, and they've set an amazing example for others. To further appreciate their incredible work, we're pleased to share another special cash bonus this summer. Walmart's employees, excluding salaried office associates employed by the company as of July 31st, will qualify for the bonus, which will pay out on August 20th. This is the third special bonus Walmart's given its workers in 2020, bringing the total spent to $1.1 billion so far this year, in addition to the regular incentive the chain provides to frontline associates on a quarterly basis. They've said they will operate normal hours on the day before Thanksgiving and have not announced the hours for the day after Thanksgiving. So I want to, while we're talking Thanksgiving, I thought I'd share a conversation we had. Did I see Val Pop on? Hey, Valerie, great to have you here. We were talking about Halloween the last few days in our business. And why were we talking Halloween? I had joked a while back that that'll be the first holiday that really happens because you have to wear a mask. But we were talking about it because we actually sell thousands. Well, that's a good point. Well, the government's about to give up on those, Rick. We sell thousands of Halloween costumes every year. And we normally start taking them August 1st. And we take them all the way through September. And, the reality is this year, and, thinking ahead, Halloween just may not happen. Okay? If we're living like we currently are, okay, and with all the uncertainty with schools, etc., are parents really going to allow their kids to go trick-or-treating, etc.? Are you going to feel comfortable with them going out to a stranger's house trick-or-treating? I think in a lot of areas of the country, the towns may ban it based on current conditions. I certainly hope they're better at the end of October, but based on current conditions, the reality exists. So, do we not? What do we as a business do? Do we not bring in Halloween costumes? Okay. Do we bring in Halloween costumes, hold them? And maybe put them out, maybe not, depending on what people do. Do we do something else? What do we as a business do? And what we decided was to take quickly, promote it early and often, and only take in August and get them to the floor very, very fast. Okay? Because when people see, especially for kids, that costume that they've been thinking of, they buy it. And so we're going to take for a shorter period of time before people have time to realize that Halloween may not happen this year. And so that's just a inside to the mind of cuties, right? Our mind here of what we're doing in our stores. But we sell so many costumes, we wanted to have the opportunity. Hey, Patty, great to have you here. So we'll see what happens with it. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with it, but in the current environment, I can't see Halloween being normal this year. Why should Halloween be normal? Nothing else is. Best Buy is hiking the minimum wage to $15, and sales are up 15% since reopening stores. Best Buy will permanently raise its minimum wage to $15 an hour for U.S. workers, following other retailers such as Target. The chain also said its sales are up 15% since stores opened in mid-June, compared with the same period a year ago. The new pay for domestic hourly employees will take effect August 2nd, a day after temporary incentive pay increases for retail associates who have been working throughout the pandemic were scheduled to end. Online sales for Best Buy are up at 185% above last year during the same period. And their second quarter sales are up 2.5%. The retailer so far has brought back about half of the 51,000 employees who they furloughed. Hey, Krita. I don't know. Michelle's having private Halloween parties. I don't know, Michelle. With a bottle of wine. But think about that. So their sales are up. They're doing more. And they only have brought back about half their employees, okay? Again, people are doing more with less. You are doing more with less. And businesses have to be more efficient to survive this and to thrive beyond it. So that is a key thing. I talked about last week, the Healthy Workplace Tax Credit. And I talked about it with both the National Retail Federation and the NFIB are promoting. There is a bill in the House, and now there is a companion bill to match it up in the Senate. So that would provide a parties for the kids. Thank you for clarifying, Michelle. This Healthy Tax Place Credit would provide a refundable tax credit against payroll taxes for 50% of the costs incurred by business for COVID-19 testing, PPE, disinfecting, extra cleaning, and reconfiguring workspaces until the end of the year. It would encourage and enable businesses to take the recommended steps to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in their workplaces, and the benefit would be limited to a maximum of $1,000 per employee for the first 500 employees, $750 per employee for the next 500, and $500 for each employee thereafter, recognizing the disproportionate impacts of COVID-19 in small and medium-sized businesses. So this is a good thing that it is introduced in the Senate now. It's in the House, and they're separate, and they're bills that are separate from a lot of the other legislation that's coming on. I mean, we're only a couple days into this 2-week legislative session, and there's lots of talk that they won't get anything done. I'm still optimistic that they will get a bill passed here before they go on August recess. Again, I posted last night in the NARTS Facebook group, and it's over on narts.org/Resale Strong, the priorities for Congress during this couple weeks in the next bill to help all of us, and asking you for your advocacy to just click through and support that bill so that we can get that to happen. Excuse me. All right. The CDC has got a couple updates from the CDC. One, the director was interviewed this morning, and they put him on the spot on Good Morning America this morning and said, hey, you know what? You've got grandkids. Are you sending them to school this year? Are you putting your 10 grandchildren to school this year? And he said, well, 8 of them are school age, and 7 of the 8 should absolutely be in school. And the 8th actually has cystic fibrosis, and he's like, depending on the school's accommodations that they're able to make for it, should depend on whether that child should be in school. But he was all for schools. That was one thing that came out of the CDC today. And, of course, that's forever controversial just because of where everybody is in their mindset. But it's interesting to say for him to say on the spot that he'd put his grandchildren in school. The CDC also updated isolation guidelines today. If you think or know you had COVID-19 and you had symptoms, you can be with others after at least 10 days since symptoms first appeared and at least 24 hours with no fever, without fever-reducing medication, and symptoms have improved. So those 3 things have to happen. So again, if you had COVID or you think you might have COVID, you should quarantine yourself for at least 10 days. You can be with others after 10 days since symptoms first appeared, and at least 24 hours with no fever, without fever-reducing medication, and symptoms have improved. So that was an interesting piece of guidance from them today that they updated. Okay. So now let's talk, let me find my sheet here. Where's my sheet here? I've got so many things up here. Do I have it in this one? Hang on one second. I just want to make sure I get to the right place here. Ah, there it is, right there. Okay, so let's talk homework. For those of you that participated in the homework sheet that I posted a couple weeks ago in NART's private Facebook group and at narts.org/Resale Strong. In that homework, we talked about growing our way out of this. Being crazy people, growing our way out of this. Making money this year, having to pay taxes because you actually made money this year. Okay, that is what we're talking about. That is 2020 2.0. That is the reboot of 2020. So in that homework, we had you look at your net sales for periods of time, your transactions, your units sold, that's the number of items you sold, the inventory received, and the number of units. We had you look at all of that for various periods of time, and so many of you sent your homework in, and I greatly appreciate that. Okay, and I have been looking at that, believe it or not. In between the 200 other things I've got going on, I have been working on that. But tonight, we're going to talk about the inventory as a whole, okay, because that's what drives your sales. Okay, so tonight's topic for the calculator is inventory. And we're going to use a number. We're going to use numbers here in the abstract, okay, that aren't exactly your numbers, probably. So and if they are exactly your numbers, I am just making them up. They are fictitious for the sake of my example. Okay? And, but what makes them important? So inventory is what makes our stores go round. And it's the number one issue, okay, it's one of the number one issues, top issues, certainly a top 3 issue, whenever I go in to consult at a store. Whenever I am sitting in your store working just on you, just on your business, inventory is one of the top issues. Always is. And the issue comes down to you think you have too much and you tend to have too little. Okay? Well, you certainly have too little in reference to the sales you want to do. And that is where the problem lies. Okay? And so the numbers I'm going to use tonight are for the sake of my example. They're also not meant to have anybody say, "Oh my God, I could never do sales like that," or "I could never do sales that small," or "I could never do sales that large. I need to do twice as many." It's all proportional. Okay, so don't get out of whack with the numbers I'm going to talk about tonight. Because I could talk about smaller numbers or bigger numbers. The principles of what I'm talking about tonight apply to everybody. On average, what I saw in this, and this is painting with a broad brush. So no, I am not talking about you. I'm talking about all of you. Again, I don't want my phone to light up after this. Oh my God, he's talking about me. Yes, I'm talking about you. Okay, so on average, from the stores that submitted, okay, and looking at things, on average, you're selling about 2/3 of what you accept. Okay, so 66.6%, 66.7%, 60 to 70% of what you accept. Okay, so work with me here. You take for every 10 items you take, you sell between 6 and 7 of them. Okay? Over a period of time. Okay? And we can define that period of time. In general, the best life of an item, the sweet spot for selling an item is in the 45-day window. Okay, and that's just a sweet spot. That has nothing to do with your consignment period. That has to do with people like to see new things. Okay, so that becomes, for a lot of people in resale, for a lot of stores, that becomes the sweet spot. Okay, you obviously want to sell it faster, and the faster you can sell it, the better. But, you know, if it sat on your floor longer than 45 days, it's probably not going to sell. In a general sense. That doesn't mean that you can't sell it, that it doesn't mean that it's one of the P's that you put a size 12 in the size 2s and all of a sudden you realized it on day 46 and you moved it and now it's going to sell because it's in the size 2s. We're painting with a big brush right now because I've got a big audience of varied stores that sell all sorts of different kinds of things. But on average, you're selling about 2/3 of your items, okay, within a 45-day or so window. Even you could call it as much as a 60-day. And that's not saying that that's what your consignment period should be. Some of you have a much shorter consignment period. Some of you have a much longer consignment period. That's okay. I'm not debating that right now. I'm just talking about sales. And I'm talking about tonight, my topic really is how much inventory do you need to do your sales? Okay? And so if you're going to sell 2/3 of what you take in, okay, you're not going to sell it this month. In a general sense, let's say you want to do $40,000 worth of sales. So let's do that as our basis point. You're going to do $40,000 worth of sales this month. You want to do $40,000 in sales this month. That is the goal. Okay, if we're working from the math, okay, in a general sense, okay, you're going to sell, if you receive $60,000 worth of inventory this month, you take in $60,000 worth of inventory, you're going to sell $20,000 of that this month, $20,000 of it next month, and $20,000 of it's never going to sell or never going to attain any value to you. Okay? So you need to take in $60,000 to yield $40,000 on a consistent basis. So if your goal is $40,000 in sales every month, and you're selling 2/3 of your inventory, you need to be taking at least $60,000 worth of inventory every month. Okay, is that making sense? Am I getting the big eyes? And I'm like, am I getting? That's what the hard thing is sometimes in this environment. I can't tell when I can see you in my audience, I can tell whether I'm losing you or not. Huh? Okay, my peanut gallery says I need to go through that again. Okay, so we want to put $40,000 in the register this month. 40 grand. Yeah. Right. So half of that money, half of that inventory, okay, is an inventory that you received last month. 20,000 of it is inventory you received last month. 20,000 of it's current that you received this month. Okay, but you needed 60,000 total in inventory to get there. Okay, and so it's all scalable up and down from an inventory perspective. It's very calculatable. Even during a pandemic, it's very calculatable what we do to get inventory to the floor, okay, out. And out means however you're getting it out. Because for many of you still right now, okay, your live show is how you're getting it out there. Your website is how you're getting it out there. Okay, so if you're not putting that level of inventory out there, however you're out there, it's not happening. Okay? It is not happening. And that isn't to say that some of you don't have a higher sell-through and some of you have a lower sell-through, and it's really not about that, because all I'm trying to do is incrementally get you to the sales to the register right now. Because to the register is what matters. Okay, money in the register is what matters. And it's having inventory to put that in the register. Okay, it's a very cyclical business. I mean, it's why I love this business. I mean, I always knew I'd be in some sort of business. Okay, I never knew I'd be in the resale business. And I certainly didn't realize I'd be in the clothing business, something that I have literally zero knowledge about in the abstract. Okay, I did dress myself today, but that's the exception. I didn't even ask Cassandra if this went, because it's sort of one of those, outfits that I know I can put together and I'm okay because she's put it together for me before. Okay? But this is a very mathematical business. This is Moneyball for resale. Okay? If you put this many up to bat, okay? Okay, for every 6 items of your average item that you put up for bat, for every 10 items, you're going to sell 6.7 of them. Okay, so you need to have that math work for you. And blue is my safe color. If that is the one thing I have learned during this pandemic, while I've always been a red or a pink calculator guy in this business, blue is my color. You ladies have taught me that you always like my blues. So I will, while Neil's never gonna sing the blues, we're going to hop on with that, and I know I can be safe. I have learned, that is something I have learned during this pandemic. So that is the math, okay, behind your inventory that we're going to use, because that was fairly consistent as I looked across all your guys' numbers with a broad brush, because I was like, okay, I want to help this on an individual basis, but I also want to help this concept on a global, so that I'm not having 200 conversations on this. I wanted to get this across. So that is what is generating your sales, okay? Because even as part of that $60,000 in inventory you received this month, some of that you're receiving in the last days of the month. Price tweaking can, okay, Michelle, great question. Can price tweaking increase sell-through? Yes. Pricing up and down can increase sell-through. And we're going to talk about that some as well. We're dealing with the more global right now, the big number, okay, but we're going to break it down. Okay, and we will break it down. And part of my pricing for profit will also talk about that whenever I have time to work on my presentation. I'm supposed to videotape my presentation and turn it in. I think it's due. Adele's going to be coming after me for the virtual conference. But I will be talking about that because price tweaking can do it. And there are many times, Michelle, that we look at when I'm looking at an individual store's data, okay, when we start breaking it out in segments, okay, we find that your sell-through on blue shirts, okay, is fabulous, okay? You know, you can't keep blue in stock. Awesome! I'm glad Abe is doing what he's supposed to be doing. I know I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to get that email from Adele anytime now that says I'm late. You know, the tweaking up and down. So in the example, just in a broad example, Michelle, let's talk about it for just briefly because I'm going to delve into it more later. But let's say blue shirts, blue tops, okay, you can't keep in stock. Okay, then blue tops the price should go up on. But red tops you have a 45-day supply of. Okay, red tops you might have to lower the price on. So it can work both ways for the same thing. So price tweaking by typically not as minutia as blue, although on a store level it can be if you have multiple locations. It is not uncommon to have multiple locations, and for whatever reason, blue sells like hotcakes in store 1, but you can't give anything blue away in store 2. Okay, they would never be seen in blue in the other town, but in this town, okay, everybody has to be seen in blue. Okay, but most often in most stores it is something you'd look at by category, where you would tweak things. But just grabbing your hands around the big inventory number that drives your sales, and it's very, very statistical, because it is something so often that I see. You know, I'll walk into a store. And they're like, it is going to be a great second half. That is awesome that you're doing the Liberty Report training next week. Make sure, okay, that they talk to you about the Neal Report. I don't know if they specifically cover the Neal Report in Liberty's report training. But I had my hand in that report, and it is an awesome report if you run it right. And if not, I'm happy to teach you it, Michelle. We'll make you a guru. But it is going to be an awesome second half. But one of the most common things I see is I'll walk into a store, okay, and they'll be like, I don't know why we can't ever do more than $40,000 a month. Okay, we never do $40,000 a month. Well, you know, when you look at the inventory, they only got $30,000 worth of inventory. You're never going to do more than $40,000 a month. Okay, you don't have the inventory, you don't have the sell-through to do it. So understanding that bigger number, okay, wrapping your arms around that bigger number, okay, it is a key driver of that, and will drive your business, okay, and drive your understanding to where you want to be, to sales that you want to achieve, because these are your goals, okay, and that's where a lot of things. The other key point doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what her sell-through is, what her inventory is, what Judy's store is, or Cindy's, or anybody else's, because that's one of the other questions I get most often. Well, how do I compare? How does my sell-through compare? It does not matter. Let's improve yours. Let's get your inventory working for you. Your goals are different than Sally's and Judy's and Cindy's. Okay? These are your goals. Okay? And I look through my stack here, and no two of the goals are the same. There's not two in this pile that are the same. There just isn't. And that's okay. Okay? That's because this is your business. These are your goals. Well, it's about fitting the right inventory, and it's about getting it turned, and it's about having it at the right valuation. So we're going to dig more into that. Little baby steps, Michelle. Has anybody watched What About Bob besides me? I'm going to have to rewatch it. But I'm like, everybody wants to take the next 100 steps instead of the next step. One step tonight. One step tonight. Don't worry, my peanut gallery will hold me accountable for coming up with another step for tomorrow night. If you think I have tomorrow night planned already, someone is mistaken. Do I have tomorrow night planned yet? All right. So, see, there you go. Yes, I have dessert planned. Is there dessert? Okay, so then I have dessert planned. But we'll get creative, Michelle. We will get the right inventory at the right value in your store, and we'll have people get a coupon for wine. I mean, if they should mention your store and get a discount next door, or he should give something, $1 off the bottle of the wine of the week, Michelle's bottle of wine. I am all for this. One step, baby steps. Okay? Because it's little changes that have huge results. Little changes. We're not turning the whole store upside down. We're not flipping everything sideways. It's little changes. And I even practiced tonight's thing on my peanut gallery before I went on. That's how prepared I was for tonight, which was about 3 minutes before I went on. Well, actually, it was a little more than that because they said dinner's ready, and I inhaled dinner before I came on tonight because I do like to get dinner in beforehand. But that is the key point for tonight. We will review again tomorrow, and we will take it another step. That is the plan here, folks. That is the plan. If you have not done the advocacy to Congress, find it in narts.org/resale strong, not narts.org/resale strong. That's where all the resources that I talk about every night are. That's even where the original homework is. So if you haven't done the homework, it's there. narts.org/resale strong. You don't have to scroll through the whole Narts Facebook page. They're all organized right there. If you have not done it so far, make sure you're registered for the Narts virtual conference. If you haven't registered for it yet, you should be registered. I talked to one store owner today, and she's like, "You're not going to believe this." I'm like, "I completely believe that you're not registered." That's not a big surprise. You're busy and you got a lot going on. You got kids, stores to run, employees, all sorts of things. I get it. Just get registered because I want to see you there. All right. We start every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. Tonight we are on page, hang on a second, 194. 194 is where we're at. Our good morning for you tonight, if you were not here at the top of the program, is good morning. Get out of your own head for a sec. Do something good today for someone else. They'll appreciate it, and so will your head. Our good night tonight is good night. Climb back into your own head for a sec. Take stock of what you've got and what you need. You'll appreciate it, and so will your head. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. I am here at more 8 than ish Eastern every night. More 8 than ish Eastern every night in the Narts private Facebook group. All of the resources I talk about here, including these videos, are over at narts.org/resale strong by noon the next day. Noon the next day is when they're there. I promise you that. Cassandra and Adele make that all happen to keep us all on the same page, and so you can share it with everybody you need. Michelle, you never hog it, and you just ask the questions that everybody else wants to know the answer to. And that's important because there are a dozen other people, 100 other people right behind you that have the exact same question. Michelle, you're awesome. And so are you, Jennifer, and Katie, and all of you that have been here with us through all this, and I appreciate you very much. I will be back here tomorrow night at more 8 than-ish. Until then, if you have a question before then, just email me, Neil, N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com, N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com. Until tomorrow night, everybody, know that you, and especially you, are not alone running this store. You're not. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. It's time for dessert. Have a great night.